ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम्
खण्डं
खण्डं
सच्चिदानन्दम्
सच्चिदानन्दम्
अवाङ्मनसगोचरम्
आत्मानमखिलाधारम् आश्रयेभीष्टसिद्धये
आत्मानमखिलाधारम् आश्रयेभीष्टसिद्धये
अर्थतोऽप्यद्वयानन्दानतीतद्वैतभानतः
अर्थतोऽप्यद्वयानन्दानतीतद्वैतभानतः
गुरूनाराध्य वेदान्तसारं मुक्ष्ये यथामति
गुरूणाराध्य वेदान्तसारं वक्ष्ये यथामति।
अत्र गङ्गायां घोषः
अत्र गङ्गायां घोषः
प्रतिवसति इति
प्रतिवसति इति
वाक्यवत्
वाक्यवत्
जगल्लक्षणा अपि न सङ्गच्छते
जगल्लक्षणा अपि न सङ्गच्छते
तत्र तु
तत्र तु
गङ्गाघोषयोः
गङ्गाघोषयोः
आधार आधेय भावलक्षणस्य
आधारादेयभावलक्षणस्य
वाक्यार्थस्य
वाक्यार्थस्य
अशेषतः विरुद्धत्वात्
अशेषतः विरुद्धत्वात्
वाक्यार्थम्
वाक्यार्थम्
अशेषतः परित्यज्य
अशेषतः परित्यज्य
तत्सम्बन्धी तीरलक्षणायाः
तत्सम्बन्धी धीरलक्षणाया
युक्तत्वात्
युक्तत्वात्
जगल्लक्षणा संगच्छते।
जगल्लक्षणा सङ्गच्छते।
अत्र तु
अत्र तु
परोक्ष अपरोक्ष चैतन्य एकत्व लक्षणस्य
परोक्षापरोक्ष चैतन्य एकत्वलक्षणस्य
वाक्यार्थस्य
वाक्यार्थस्य
भागमात्रे
भागमात्रे
विरोधात्
विरोधात्
भागान्तरम् अपि परित्यज्य
भाग्यान्तरम् अपि परित्यज्य
अन्यलक्षणायाः
अन्यलक्षणायाः
अयुक्तत्वात्
अयुक्तत्वात्
जगल्लक्षणा न संगच्छते।
सह जगल्लक्षणा न सङ्गच्छते।
न च गङ्गापदम्
न च गङ्गापदम्
Have you read this? Or we have to read this?
Yeah, 162 is over. 163 also is.
Yeah, okay, we have read. स्वार्थ परित्यागेन
स्वार्थ परित्यागेन
तीरपदार्थम्
तीरपदार्थं
यथा लक्षयति
यथा लक्षयति
तथा तत्पदं त्वं पदं वा
तथा तत्पदं त्वं पदं वा
स्वार्थ परित्यागेन
स्वार्थ परित्यागेन
त्वं पदार्थं तत्पदार्थं वा
त्वं पदार्थं तत्पदार्थं वा
लक्षयतु
लक्षयतु
लक्षयतु अतः
लक्षयतु अतः
कुतः
कुतः
जगल्लक्षणा न संगच्छते इति वाच्यम्।
जगल्लक्षणा न सङ्गच्छते इति वाच्यम्
तत्र
तत्र
तीरपद अश्रवणेन
तीरपद आश्रवणेन
तदर्थ अप्रतीतौ
तदर्थ अप्रतीतौ
लक्षणया
लक्षणया
तत्प्रतीति अपेक्षायाम्
तत्प्रतीति अपेक्षायाम्
अपि
अपि
तत् त्वं पदयोः
तत् त्वं पदयोः
श्रूयमाणत्वेन
श्रूयमानत्वेन
तदर्थप्रतीतौ
तदर्थप्रतीतौ
लक्षणया
लक्षणया
पुनः
पुनः
अन्यतरपदेन
अन्यतरपदेन
अन्यतरपदार्थप्रतीति
अन्यतरपदार्थप्रतीति
अपेक्षा अभावात्।
अपेक्षा अभावात्।
Up to this we have read. This section which deals with the analysis of the Mahavakya महावाक्य प्रचारः वाक्य विचार महावाक्य विचार. This is how Mimamsa is done. Padajnanam Padajnanam Padashastram. Vakya Jnanam, this Vichara Mimamsa. Analysis. The words are connected in the sentence. Connected, they make a meaning, they convey a meaning. Individually, they are meaningful. Collectively, they make a meaning. They convey a meaning. They communicate. So the three types of Sambandha, Samanadikaranyam, Sambandhatrayam, Samanadikaranyam Pratamaha, Dvitiyaha Visheshana Visheshabhavaha, Tritiyaha Lakshya Lakshana Bhavaha. Padayogo Samanadikaranyam, Padarthayoga Visheshana Visheshabhavaha. Iti and all we have seen. A word, two words which are in relationship. Some people they say here the Mahavakya itself, the words are in relationship. The two words are in relationship. Like Nilotpalam. Similarly, the Mahavakyam also, the words are related. So it is good enough to interpret the Mahavakya either by taking the Samsargartha or Vishishtartha. Therefore, it is not a Mahavakya according to some. It is Samsargartha Bodhaka, Samsargartha Bodhaka, अथवा विशिष्टार्थ बोधक वाक्यमिति. But these two be dismissed. So it cannot be samsargartha because unlike Nilotpalam, it is not an attribute. Tat is not an attribute sticking to Tum, or Tum is not an attribute sticking to Tat. Nila is an attribute. Therefore, the attribute is connected to, it is always in contact. Both have to be the same locus. Yatra yatra utpalam tatra tatra Nila gunaha asti eva. If it is Nila utpalam. If it is Rakta utpalam, yatra yatra utpalam asti tatra eva Rakta varnaha api asti. Rakta varna cannot be located somewhere else and this utpalam be somewhere else. Samana adhikaranam ekatra eva bhavitum hargati. So samsarga artha is ruled out. Why we say is ruled out? Because tat is tatiti padena kim lakshyate tatiti padena paroksha chaitanya. Paroksha chaitanyam tatiti padena paroksha. Tamiti padena aparoksha. So paroksha aparoksha chaitanya yogo ekatvam ekatva bodhaka vakyam is mahavakyam. This vakya there taking that tat as tattam as tat as a visheshana to tam or either way tam as visheshana to tat doesn't work. It doesn't fit. It's not proper. There is no samsarga. Therefore, it cannot be samsarga artaka bodhaka vakya. Find Vishishtartha, that is also ruled out for Vishishtartha. Instead of the same example the Purva Pakshi gave, find if Samsargartha doesn't work, why don't we take Vishishtartha? All the Vishishtadvaitins, other Dvaita Paksha, for them it is Vishishtartha. Vishishtaha means that in the Dashtanta, the Neelam, isn't substance. It is also a substance. Two substances. And the two substances are connected. Neelam iti gunasya utpalam iti dravya padarthasya. So these two, the Neelam, the Utpalam is Vishishtaha by the substance. The Utpalam is Vishishtaha by the substance Neelam. So if Utpalam is Vishishtaha by another substance, then if it is a substance, two substances being at the same and same locus in a Vakya, they enjoy the same Vibhakti, therefore there is Visheshana Visheshya. Iti Vishishtartha. Instead of taking the Neelam as an attribute, taking it as a Dravya. Then Vishishtartha Bharataka Vakya. Similarly, the Tattva Tamasya also. So both can be taken as a substance. Iti, yes, a proposition was good, that also we dismissed. See, if it is Visishta, even if it is Vishishta, if we take Visishta, the both have to be at the same Adhikaranam, to be a Visheshana Visheshya. For the same reason, or for the Viruddha Dharma, the completely different opposite Dharma, the nature, therefore, they cannot, in the Mahavakya, Tattva and Tvam, cannot enjoy that meaning also, cannot convey that meaning also, Visishtartha. The Neelam, the substance, and the Utpalam is another substance. Both the substance, the same locus, so each one qualifying the other. Anyonya Vyavartakataya. So therefore, I am Neelam, I am Utpalam Neelam, iti Tatra Vishishtartha Bodhakam Argati Kintu Tatattvamasi iti Mahavakya Tatana Sangachate. It is not possible. For the reason they are Viruddha Dharma. The Viruddha Dharma, how can there be a Visheshana Visheshya Bhava? And also for the same reason, Parokshatva, Aparokshatva, you can say. So therefore, these two meanings cannot be taken. Therefore, it has to be Aikya Bodhaka Lakshya Lakshana Bhavaha iti. When it comes to Lakshya Lakshana Bhavaha, there also again the question arises, what Lakshya Lakshana Bhavaha? Because there are three. Jagal Lakshana is there, Ajagal Lakshana is there, then Jagal Lakshana is there. So which one we have to take? Now first we have to understand what is Jagal Lakshana. That is what we saw in the last class. Gangayam Goshaha iti. Gangayam Goshaha iti Dashtanta for Jagal Lakshana. Jagal Lakshana Vritti for that Gangayam Goshaha. Gangayam Gosha iti Vakye. Ganga Padena Tiraha Lakshati. Tiraha Lakshate. Natu, because for the reason Ganga, on the Ganga there cannot be anything. What to talk about the Goshaha, the village, because it is flowing. So there cannot be Adara Ade Sambandha between Ganga and Gosha. Adara Ade Bhava Lakshanasya, that is a Vakyartha. We take Vakyarthasya. It is Viruddhaha. Adara Ade Bhava Lakshanam Viruddham Bhavati. Vakyarthasya. Adara Adeya Lakshanasya Vakyarthasya Viruddha. Vakyarthasya Viruddhaha asti. Vakyarthasya Viruddhatvat. Viruddhatva, therefore Vakyartham, the Vakyartham, the meaning of the sentence, that what we do, that Viruddha, Viruddhatva, Vakyartham, Sampurnataya Parityajya. Parityajya, Asheshataha Parityajya. Viruddhatva, Vakyartham, Parityajya. Then Tat Sambandhi, connected to the Tira Lakshanayaha Yuktatvat. Yuktatvat, it is proper to bring in a word connected to it. So Vakyartham Parityajya Tat Sambandhi Lakshanayaha Yuktatvat. That is Jagal Lakshana Samgachate iti. Iti Mahavakya is Jagal Lakshana iti Purva Pakshi said. So Jagal Lakshana is completely giving up the primary meaning, Mukyartha. We call Abhida Vritti or Mukhya Vritti. Completely giving up the primary meaning. The primary meaning is not proper. Therefore, giving up the primary meaning, the word which conveying the primary meaning is given up. Not the word is given up. The primary meaning conveyed by the word is given up. In that place, we take the secondary meaning. Tat Sambandhi Lakshanayaha Yuktatvat. That is called Jagal Lakshana. So therefore, we can take this Tattva-tamasi, give the primary meaning and take up the implied meaning. No, that doesn't apply. That doesn't apply to Mahavakya. Why? Because Paroksha Aparoksha Chaitanya Ekatva Lakshanasya Vakyartasya unlike Gangayam Goshaha Tattva Asi the Mahavakya Bhagamatra Viruddhatva. Only a part of it is contradictory. The contradiction is said Parokshatva Aparokshatva. One is far, other one is near. The contradiction is there. So therefore Bhagamatra, only a part is contradictory. Kintu Chaitanyatva, Chaitanya, Ekatva, Ekatavasti. Paroksha, Aparoksha is only contradictory, but in terms of Chaitanyam, there is no contradiction. So Bhagantare eva viruddham asti. But what we do, Bhagamatra virodhat, Bhagantara api parityajya, giving up the other part also. And by implication, you bring some other meaning. That is not proper. So, tat tvam asi, tat tatpadena paroksha chaitanyam lakshyate, tvam padena aparoksha chaitanyam lakshyate. So, paroksha aparoksha iti viruddhaha asti. Vakyarthasya virodhat. Bhagamatra virodhaha asti. Bhagamatra virodhaha asti. A part of it only has contradiction. But the other part is not contradictory. Chaitanyam is not contradictory. That also you give up and bringing some other meaning, secondary, and giving the secondary meaning to the Vakya, the words and therefore the Vakya is not proper. So, Bhagantare virodhaha asti, ataha Bhagantaram api parityajya, Anya Lakshanayaha ayuktatvat. Anya Lakshanam, bringing the implied meaning is not proper. So it means Tattva-tamasi, Tattva-padena, it is Paroksha Chaitanyam. So Paroksha, therefore you give up that. When you give up that means, when you give up the Viruddha aspect, Bhagantare, there is no Virodha. Ekabhage Virodha, Anya Bhage na Virodha. So you have to give up. The entire Tattva also should be given up. That is not possible. That meaning you cannot take. If tat give up its primary meaning, if tat give up its mukhya artha, then it has to give up its the it has to give up its bhagantara. Bhagantara is the idea of consciousness. That also has given up. So primary meaning is parokshatva. If tat give up its primary meaning, that viruddha aspect is parokshatva. The parokshatva is given up. Along with that, Chaitanyam also given up. But in terms of Chaitanyam, there is no contradiction. So you are giving up that which is not contradictory. Because Tattvapada, in the place of Tattvapadam, you have to bring in some other meaning. Tat Padartha should be replaced by Anya Padartha. Like Gangayam is replaced by Tire iti. Similarly, Tattva also should be replaced by another Padartha meaning, secondary meaning. But Tattva is referring to Paroksha Chaitanyam. Paroksha is contradictory. Bhagantara virodha asti. Bhagamatre eva virodha asti. Bhagantare anya bhage na virodha. But what happens by Jagal Lakshana, the other bhaka also is given up. So you give up the entire thing. Similarly, Tvam also. So if Bhagantare virodha, the Sarvajñatvam, Sarvashaktimatvam, these are to be given up. But when you give up that, Chaitanyam also is given up. The same thing with the Tvam Padam also. Tvam Padam has got Alpajñatvam, Alpashaktimatvam, Upadi Drishtiya, and Chaitanyam also is that. No, when you give up the primary meaning, Mukhyartha, then what happens? The contradictory aspects are given up. And the common thing, which is the Chaitanyam, that also is given up. So both are given up. That is the common thing which is there, the Chaitanyam, that is also given up. So that is the drawback, that is the defect. If we take Jagal Lakshana, therefore Jagal Lakshana na sangachate. Why it is not applicable also must be clear. Jagal Lakshana, it is not proper. It is dismissed. Cannot take Jagal Lakshana. And the Acharya himself explained. Ganga Padam Swartha Parityagena Tira Padartha Mita Lakshayati. Swasya Artham Paritya, giving up its direct meaning, primary meaning, Tira Padartham Lakshayati Ganga iti Padam. Tadvat Yata Tata Tat Padam Va Tvam Padam Swartha Parityagena Tvam Padam Tat Padartham Lakshayatu. Iti Pichata Purva Pakshi. Ta Ganga Padam Swartha Parityagena Tira Padartham Lakshayati. Tadvat Tvam Padam Tat Padam Api. Let Tat Padam giving up Swartha and giving up Swartha. Tat Padam giving up its Swartha, giving up meaning, let it denote Tat Padam, Tvam Padam. Similarly, Tvam Padam giving up its meaning, let it denote Tat Padam, Lakshayatu. Tat Padam Swartha Parityagena Tvam Padam Lakshayatu. Tvam Padam Swartha Parityagena Tat Padam Lakshayatu. Tat Padartham Lakshayatu. Padartham. Because Padam denotes Padartha. Word indicates the object what it refers to, the thing what it refers to. So Tatpadam Swartha Parityagena Tvam Padartham Lakshayatu. Tvam Padam Swartha Parityagena Tat Padartham Lakshayatu. Iti a supposition. Then Kutaha Jagal Lakshana Sangachate. Why Jagal Lakshana is not applicable? Tatpadam Swartha Parityagena Tvam Padartham Lakshayatu means the Tatpadam, now it will become Tvam. So the Vakya become Tvam Tvam Asi. Already Tvam Asi is that. What is it? Tvam Tvam Asi? It is Tvam Tvam Asi, it is no meaning. Tvam Tvam Asi eva. Similarly, Tvam Padam Swartha Parityagena Tat Padartham Lakshayatu. So in the Vakya Tatu Tvam Asi. Tvam Padam is replaced. Lakshayatu. What Tat Padam? So Tatu Tatu Asi. Tatu Tatu Asi, Tvam Tvam Asi. So the Mahavakya will become Tatu Tatu Asya Tum Tum Asi. So here we can apply Jagal Lakshana. No, it is not applicable. Na Sangachate. Because the reason is so obvious. Tum Tum Asi Tatu Tatu Asi. What is that it conveys? See, Tatra य-pada-अश्रवणेन तदर्थ अप्रतीतौ लक्षणया तत्प्रतीति अपेक्षायाम् अस्ति. य-पद-अश्रवणम्. The वाक्य गंगायां घोषः य-पदं न वर्तते, न विद्यते तत्र. तस्य अश्रवणं भवति. It is not heard. It means it is not there. किन्तु तदर्थ प्रतीतिः भवति लक्षणया. But there is a pratiti, knowledge of the word tira is there implied. यद्यपि तीरपदस्य अभावः तीरपदस्य अश्रवणं भवति न दृश्यते गंगायां घोष इति वाक्ये, तथापि तीरपदस्य तीरपदस्य अर्थस्य प्रतीतिः भवति एव लक्षणया, by implication. गंगायां घोषः, by implication we know it is तीरे घोषः इति. तीर तत् प्रतीति अपेक्षायां, there is अपेक्षा, there is an expectancy of its the meaning. लक्षणया तत् त्वं पदयोः. There, unlike गंगायां घोषः, तत् त्वं पदयोः, there तत् त्वं पदम is श्रूयते एव. श्रूयेते एव तत् त्वं पदम्. श्रूयमानत्वेन तत् त्वं पदयोः. तदर्थ प्रतीति श्रूयमानत्वात् तदर्थ प्रतीतिः भवति एव. So तदर्थ प्रतीतौ, when the meaning is very explicit, clear, and you apply the Jagal Lakshana Vritti and Lakshanaya by implication, what you do? Anyatara padena anyatara padartha pratiti. It is not required. There is no apeksha, there is no expectancy of bringing a word, replacing a word by the meaning of the other word. There is no expectancy here because tat and tvam padam is there, very well there in the vakya. Shuyamanatvat tadartha pratiti bhavati. Kimartam anyatara padena anyatara padartha pratiti apekshah asti. There is no apeksha. Apeksha abhavat. Kimartam, this anya pada should be replaced by anyatara pada should be replaced by anya padartha padantarena. So anyatara padena anyatara padartha pratiti, by one word, the meaning of the other word is not understood here, not required here. The understanding of the meaning of a word by another word is not required here. The meaning of a word should be replaced by the meaning of the other word. Is not expected here. Is not required here. Lakshanaya na lakshanaya na apeksha asti atra. Tatutvam iti mahavakye अन्यतर पदेन अन्यतर पदार्थ प्रतीतिः नास्ति, अपेक्षा नास्ति. अन्यतर पदार्थ प्रतीतेः अपेक्षा नास्ति. There is no expectancy of replacing a word by the meaning of the other word, because when both the words are explicitly mentioned in the vakya, there is no need to replace a word by the meaning of the other word. Tatu tvamasi, it is there. So what is the need to replace the word tatu by tvam? or Tom by Tatu. It is required in the case of Gangayam Goshaha into Atra Nasti. If Ganga is the Stani, replace it by Tira, that is Yadesha. So Anyat Tarapadena, Anyat Padartha Pratitihi Bhavati Tatra Pratitihi. Into Atra Tatpadena, Tam Padartha Pratiti Apeksha, Tam Padartha Pratiti Apeksha Astiva Nasti Eva. Tadvat Tam Padena, Tat Padartha Pratiti Apeksha Astiva Nasti Eva. Kimartam Nasti Vayogo Padayogo. Tum Tatu Tum Padayogo Suyamanatva. That is a hetu, Suyamanatvena, because of it is very well heard in the sentence. And therefore it is Tadartha Pratito, it conveys its meaning. That meaning is explicit because it is there. When it is there, then why do you bring in the meaning of the another word to the word which are there in the sentence? To a given word, bringing a meaning of another word. Bringing a meaning of a word. That is the word which is not there in this, which is the meaning of another word. And in this example, that in this Drishtan, in the Dashtanta, Tatattvamasi, the meaning of that other word also is there. See, Tatattvamasi, in the place of Tat, you give up the meaning of the word, and in that place you bring in some other meaning. Meaning of some other word, it is fine. But you are bringing the meaning of the word Tvam itself. That very well it is there in the sentence. So, similarly, the Tvam Padam is there in the sentence. You give up that word. In the place, you bring in the meaning of another word, which is there very well in the sentence. That is ridiculous. You can suppose if Tvam Padam giving up its primary meaning, it takes implied meaning, then bringing the meaning of some other word, not Tvam, some other word, then it is fine. Then maybe Mahavakya, if it is so, it can be interpreted in whatever it is. Similarly for Tvam Padam also. But that is not the case here. Here it is, you are replacing Tvam, giving up Tvam, Tat Padam or Tvam Padam, and replacing it by Tvam or Tat. Anyatarapadena, Anyatarapadartha Pratiti, Atra Pratiti Apeksha Atra Nasti. Ataha, the fourth Jagalakshana Nasangachate Atra, implied meaning is not possible here. So Jagalakshana is ruled out. Jagalakshana is ruled out. Jagalakshana brings an implied meaning, that is ruled out. Then if that is ruled out, then what we have to do next? The other two Lakshanas are there. Ajagal Lakshana. Okay, let us take Jagal Lakshana is not applicable. Fine. Then why don't we take Ajagal Lakshana? See, all these things need to be understood very clearly. This is Mahavakya Vichara. The meaning of the word, just like that, we cannot take it. What is the Mukhyartha? What is the Lakshyartha? What is the primary meaning? What is the implied meaning? The implied meaning should be implied meaning should be taken, as we know, when only the primary meaning is not applicable. And this is and here it is a sentence which equates two seemingly contradictory things. It is a teaching. Mahavakya it resolves the huge seemingly differences between two seemingly different things. So therefore it is important to do the vichara of the padam and understanding the padartha by avidavritti, that is mukhya vritti, and by lakshana vritti. Mukhya vritti not applicable, therefore lakshana vritti we take. Lakshana is necessary. Why? Because the vakya is not clear. The vakya, by taking the The Mukhya Artha is not clear, doesn't convey anything. Doesn't convey it. It is irrational, it is unreasonable, it is ridiculous if we take the Mukhya Artha. It is, if you take the Mukhya Artha, it is like saying the elephant and the hand are same. They cannot be same. So therefore, when the Shruti says, the Shruti cannot be dismissed. Pramanatvat. Therefore, the analysis is required. Shruti cannot be wrong. So you can see how much Shraddha is there in the Shruti. Not dismissing the Shruti, giving the benefit of doubt to the Shruti. Shruti has Tatparya in presenting the Aikyam. Therefore, this Vakya must be presenting Aikyam, Jiveshwara Aikyam. Therefore, in what way the Vakya can be interpreted? That is one thing. And interpretation by the other Lakshana is doesn't fit here. It's not proper. Doesn't fit here. It is ayuktatva, not proper. That also have to be seen. The dosha, the defects which are there because of the application of the other vritti, Lakshana vritti. That also should be understood. And the right vritti. Therefore, there is a need for understanding. There is a need for the right application of the right vritti. We started with the samsargartha, vishishtartha, both are negated. It should be aikyartha. In aikyartha, we have this problem, the three lakshana vritti. Therefore, each one is dismissed. Directly in the beginning itself, the author could have said directly jagal ajagal lakshana vritti. Didn't say. Why? Because what is jagal lakshana should be understood, and what is ajagal lakshana also should be understood. Applying this vritti, the defects have to be seen. And then jagal ajagal lakshana, when we apply, that conveys the meaning which is not contradictory at all. That fits in very well. So one has to see that, understand that. That is why the lakshana vrittis are mentioned and then it is dismissed. So here the author, by mentioning jagal lakshana, he explains what jagal lakshana is. Similarly, by mentioning ajagal lakshana, he explains what ajagal lakshana. So first is, he mentions the word jagal lakshana or ajagal lakshana, then explains what it is, and then he applies that, and then the defect is shown, and the reasons are given why the defects are shown, and the reasons. Because of the reason the lakshana cannot be applied. Therefore, what next? There is a sequence, the sequence of the thought you can see, sequence of the thread of thought in the discussion. So jagal lakshana is ruled out, dismissed. Now, ajagal lakshana. What is ajagal lakshana? Jagati, na jagati, ajagati. Jagati lakshana, jagal lakshana. Sandhi samase, jagal lakshana. Ajagati lakshana, ajagal lakshana. There is no giving up. So the name itself suggests ajagal lakshana means there is no giving up. Don't give up the primary meaning of the word. Retain that. But what do? You add something more to it. That is called ajagal lakshana. Don't give up the meaning. The meaning should not be given up. The literal meaning, primary meaning, the primary meaning is there. That should not be given up. Primary meaning is given up, Ganga ayam Goshaha. So here primary meaning should not be given up. But another meaning also. So there is an acceptance of the another meaning. Anya padarthasya pratitihi अन्य पदार्थ स्वीकरणम, अन्य पदार्थ स्वीकरणम, that is ajaga lakshana. So with the drishtanta the author explains the beauty here is he just mentioned the drishtanta and then say jaga lakshana is not applied. But what ajaga lakshana he doesn't say, that it comes because ajaga lakshana the word is mentioned, then there is a akanksha in the mind of the student. What is ajaga lakshana? That he defines next. But that is how the author has done from the very beginning, having introduced one word and what it is that he explains in the next passage. Now let us read 164. Ajaga lakshana. Atra shonaha dhavati iti.
अत्र शोणः धावति इति
Vakyavat
वाक्यवत्
ajagal lakshana api
अजहल्लक्षणा अपि
na sambhavati.
न सम्भवति.
Ajagal lakshana na sambhavati. Ajagal lakshana is not possible here. Jagal lakshana na sambhavati. Ajagal lakshana api na sambhavati. किमर्थम न संभवति? जगत लक्षण already उत्तम, already it is उत्तम, पूर्वम उक्तत्वात्, उक्त हेतु किमर्थम न उक्तम इति पूर्वम उक्तम. जगत लक्षण किमर्थम न संभवति? इदानीम् अजगत लक्षण किमर्थम न संभवति? शोनः धावति इति वाक्यस्य, like the वाक्य शोनः धावति. शोनः means red, धावति means runs, the red runs. Shonaha means red color. The Drishtanta, it is Shonaha. Shonaha Ravati, Raktam Davati, Pitam Davati. Something, some one color is running. Shonaha Davati, a color runs. So that is the Drishtanta for Ajagal Lakshana. Now what is Shonaha Davati? First we have to understand Ajagal Lakshana with the Drishtanta. So that is in it. Introduces Ajagal Lakshana. Tatra शोन गुण गमन लक्षणस्य
शोण गुण गमन लक्षणस्य
वाक्यार्थस्य
वाक्यार्थस्य
विरुद्धत्वात्
विरुद्धत्वात्
तत् अपरित्यागेन
तत् अपरित्यागेन
तदाश्रय अश्वादि लक्षणया
तदाश्रय अश्वादि लक्षणया
तद्विरोध परिहार संभवात्
तद्विरोध परिहार संभवात्
अजगल्लक्षणात् संभवति.
अजगल्लक्षणा संभवति.
So अजगल्लक्षणा संभवति अत्र अस्मिन् वाक्ये महावाक्ये तत् त्वमसि इति पूर्वपक्षी says. What is अजगल्लक्षणा? शोनः धावति, यथा शोनः धावति वाक्यमस्ति तद्वाक्यवत् अत्रापि अस्मिन् वाक्ये अपि तत् त्वमसि इति महावाक्ये अपि अजगल्लक्षणा संभवति. अजगल्लक्षणा न संभवति इति author says. The author first says न संभवति. किमर्थं न संभवति? अजगल्लक्षणा संभवति इति पूर्वपक्षी says. Yes, the contradicting the Siddhanta, raising the Purvapakshi in order to make us our understanding very clear. First statement said Ajaga Lakshana is not proper. Why it is not proper? It is Sambhavati eva. Ajaga Lakshana is proper. Iti Purvapakshi says. Then we say it is not. Then we'll give the reason why it is. Not just saying it doesn't apply. We have to give the reason also. That reason should be the valid reason convincing the Purvapakshi. Convincing Purvapakshi, convincing our buddhi. We have to get convinced. Otherwise, always there will be doubt lingering in the mind. Why it is not? Why it is not? When doubt is there, it is not Drida Jnanam. Okay, now here. Shona iti varnaha. Shonaha iti kaschit varnaha. Guna. Shonaha davati. Davati iti gamana kriya. The dhatu. The dhatu is davati. There is a dhatu, there is a sru dhatu which is replaced by dav also. So davati runs. So gamana lakshanasya, characterized by gamanam, the movement. What? This shona gunasya. Shona guna gamana lakshanasya. Vakyartasya, the meaning of the sentence. Viruddhatva, there's a contradiction of saying shonaha davati, the red runs. Viruddhatvat. Why that is viruddha? Because shona is a color. Shona meaning color. Red color. Red color means it's an attribute. It's an attribute. Attribute must be located in a substance. So there must be a substance, there must be an object. The object only there can be the guna, like color, gandha, varna, gandha, etc. Like Neelam Utpalam in we say. Neelam is a color, being an attribute. It must be in the object. So yatra Utpalam, tatra Neela Varnaha asti. Not all the Utpalam. It is Neela Utpalam. So where the Utpalam is, the red color has to be. When you move the Utpalam from one place to another place, not that color will remain and then only you can move the Utpalam. Along with Utpalam, the Neelam also, sorry, Neelam also goes. So Neelam is an attribute. So it has to be with the substantive. So object is the locus on which the color always resides, abides. So when we say the red color runs, it means since red as an attribute cannot run, so red must be indicating something, what that is a substantive which runs. That alone runs. So the color red must be abiding in an object. So red runs means that object runs. Therefore, red runs, the sentence has to be changed into that object. What is that object? Ashwadi Lakshanaya. So, tat aparityane, not giving up the meaning of the word shona. Shona meaning red. So, we are not giving up the meaning of the word shona, that is red, without giving up the meaning. Tad ashraya ashwadi lakshanaya. By implication, what we do, that ashraya, that which is a locus of the red color. What is the locus? Ashwadi, horse, etc. Adi padat, we can add anything. Either it is ashwa or it could be a goat, gaj, aja, ashwadi. Some many animals or something. Ashwadi lakshanaya. Tad viroda parihar sambhava. The contradiction is removed now because red cannot run. Red cannot run. Red means that refers to the red ashraya. Shona ashraya padartha. Shona ashraya padartha davati. Shona ashraya. Shona guna ashraya padartha gamanam. Therefore, ashvaha davati. The ashva is red in color. So instead of saying shonaha ashvaha davati, because it is understood. Shonaha davati. So ashvaha, the word, have to be supplied. And it is understood by the word shonaha. Do we drop the word shonaha like Jagal Lakshana? No. Jagal Lakshana, Ganga is dropped. In the place we bring in Tira. But here it is not dropped. Tad aparityagena, shona पदस्य पदार्थस्य पदे शोन इति पदेन यत् गुणः लक्ष्यते तत् अपरित्यागेन तदाश्रय पदार्थ तदाश्रय पदार्थः स्वीक्रियते तेन विरोधस्य परिहारः भवति. The virodha, the contradiction is resolved. शोनः धावति इति अस्मिन् वाक्ये विरुद्धत्वम् अस्ति. किमर्थं विरुद्धत्वं? शोनः इति गुणस्य गमनं कदापि न भवति. अतः शोन इति पदेन अश्वादिः लक्ष्यते. तेन विरोधस्य परिहारः भवति. विरोधपरिहार संभवात् जगल्लक्षणा संभवति. So what Jagal-lakshana we understand from this sentence? The Purva-Pakshi says Jagal-lakshana is sambhavati for Mahavakya also. And what Jagal-lakshana here he says? So this is the explanation of Jagal-lakshana. Jagal-lakshana is also interpreted. And Jagal-lakshana is applicable in the Mahavakya also is said by the Purva-Pakshi. Ajagal-lakshana, sorry. Not Ajagal-lakshana. Ajagal-lakshana means not Jagal-lakshana, Ajagal-lakshana, not giving up the primary meaning. We are not giving up the meaning of the word Shona. Shona iti padasya arthaha api svikriyate. Shona iti padena anya padarthasya api swikaranam bhavati. Tena kim bhavati aviruddhatvam. Vakyasya aviruddhatvam sambhavati. Virodha pariharaha sambhavati. Virodha is contradiction is resolved. So therefore, there is a reconciliation of the contradiction by bringing in the other word, retaining the primary meaning by bringing the other word. That is Ajagal-lakshana. So therefore, red runs when we say we have to replace a red. We should not replace the word by red, but we have to retain the word red. We have to supply the word horse. Red horse runs. That is the meaning. This is what we understand. So therefore, Ajagal-lakshana removes the contradiction. Then the same thing can be applied to Tatu Tomasi also. Iti says, but for that we say, no, it is not possible. This also is not possible. Why it is not possible? See, why it is not possible, before reading it, we can easily understand this also. The Mahavakya conveys the identity of Tat Padartha, Tvam Padartha. Tat and Tvam are literally contradictory. Mukhyartha Drishtya, it is Mukhyartha Drishtya Virodha asti. Why Virodha? Because Tat is Aparoksha Chaitanyam, Tat is Paroksha Chaitanyam, Tvam is Aparoksha Chaitanyam. Tat is Aparoksha Chaitanyam, Tvam is Aparoksha Chaitanyam, Tat is Paroksha Chaitanyam. Kshamita. Tat is Paroksha, Ishvaraha. Ishvara is Purnaha. Tvam is Aparoksha, that is myself, individual, limited. So, one is free from all the limitations, whether other is full of limitations. So, there is a contradiction. Now, to remove this contradiction, if you apply Jagal-lakshana, what happened? The contradiction part is that is retained. In addition to that, a connected meaning is supplied. So, the contradiction, because you retain the contradiction between the words, between the two words, between what the word conveys, between the words Satu and Tvam, there is a contradiction. Mukhyartha Drishtya Virodha asti, there is a contradiction. You are not resolving the contradiction, you are not reconciliating the contradiction, you are retaining the contradiction, and you supply some other the meaning. A connected meaning is supplied. Because you are not resolving the contradiction remains. The contradiction remains. Then the very purpose of applying the Lakshana Vritti itself is defeated. The purpose of applying the Lakshana Vritti is to resolve the contradiction, to reconcile the contradiction. But contradiction remains. And what are the contradictions? Parokshatva, Aparokshatva. Tatpadena Paroksha Chaitanyam Lakshyate. Tam Padena Aparoksha Chaitanyam Lakshyate. Parokshatva, Aparokshatva. Not only that, Sarvangyatva, Sarvashaktimatvadi, Paroksha Chaitanyam it is. And here Alpa Shaktimatvam, Alpanyaha, Alpanyatvam, Alpa Shaktimatvam, Aparokshatvadi Chaitanya. So contradictions will be there, will continue, and applying Jagal Lakshana, and therefore, since there is no reconciliation, because Ajagal Lakshana you should not give up. You should not give up. As we don't give up the red Shonaha, we don't give up. In addition, we bring in a connected word, Ashvaha. Similarly, here also, there should not be giving up of the primary meaning. Primary meaning of Tat-padam is Ishvara. Primary meaning of Tat-padam is Jiva. Should not give up the meaning. The Ishvara and Jiva with all the limitations, Ishvara who is free from all limitations, both that is retained. That meaning is retained. In addition to that, you supply a connected meaning. Does it resolve the differences? The differences are further entertained. It continues. Then how can you apply Ajagal Lakshana? The simple reason is this. When we understand what Jagal Lakshana, why it is not applicable, we can easily understand. So the Viruddha Amsha is not given up. Viruddha Amsha is retained. And in addition, a connected meaning is supplied. So that doesn't resolve the Viruddha, the contradictions. So therefore, Nasangachate. This is simple reason. In fact, this is what the author says here. If you understand this, then the meaning of this passage will be very clear. Let us read. Atratu Parokshatva Aparokshatvadi
Parokshatva Aparokshatvadi
Vishishta Chaitanya Ekatvasya
Vishishta Chaitanya Ekatvasya
Vakyartasya
Vakyartasya
Viruddhatvat
Viruddhatvat
Tat Aparityagena
Tat Aparityagena
Tat Sambandinaha
Tat Sambandinaha
Yasya Kasyachit
Yasya Kasyachit
Artasya Lakshitatve
Artasya Lakshitatve
Artasya Lakshitatve Api
Artasya Lakshitatve Api
Tad Viroda Parigara Asambhavat
Tad Viroda Aparihara Asambhavat
Viroda Parigara Asambhavat, not Aparigara.
Tad Viroda Parihara Asambhavat
Ajagal Lakshana na Sambhavati eva.
Ajahal Lakshana na Sambhavati eva.
The meaning of the sentence is so clear. Ajal Lakshana na Sambhavati eva. It is not admissible at all, not acceptable at all here. Why? Vakyartam is Parokshatvadi Vishishta Chaitanyam is Lakshitam by Tatpada. Aparokshatvadi Vishishta Chaitanyam is Lakshitam by Thampada. Thampadena Aparokshatvadi Vishishta Chaitanyam Lakshyate. Tatpadena Parokshatvadi Vishishtam Chaitanyam Lakshyate. Vakyata Drishtya Tatpadena Ishvaraha Thampadena Jivaha. Jiva Ishvaraha. Viruddhatvat. Because of the farness and immediacy and remoteness, Virodha Hasti. And also because of the The Upadi Bheda. Ishvara Upadi is Samashti Upadi. Samashti is total. That's why we say unlimited. It is. Jiva Upadi is Vyashti Upadi, Parichinna. Therefore, Jiva is endowed with Alpajnatvam, Alpashaktimatvam. Virodaha. And Ishvara is Sarvashakti, Sarvajnaha, Sarvajnatvam, Sarvashaktimatvam. So, Paraspara Virodaha. Paraspara Virodaha asti Jiveshvara Yoga. So, Ajaga Lakshana, what we do? Ajaga Lakshana, we should not give up the meaning. Therefore, Tat Paritya, Aparityagena. What Viruddha Amsha Aparityagena? The Viruddha Amsha should not be given up. Then what you bring? Tat Sambandhinaha, connected to that. Yasya Kasyachit Padarthasya Swikaranam. Yasya Kasyachit, bringing the meaning of some other. Bringing the meaning, the corrected meaning. Some other connected meaning you bring in. Lakshitatve. So, yasya kasyachit of any other meaning. That is the not giving up the content, the meaning of not giving up the meaning, the seemingly contradictory meaning. Viruddha aparityagena. The Viruddha is Parokshata Parokshatvadi. That is the Viruddha. At the same time, य-एकत्वम asti. Fine. But Viruddhatam has to be given up, then only there can be equation. But not giving up the Viruddhatam, because that is Ajaga Lakshana doesn't allow that. Therefore, Tat Aparityagena. Viruddhatva Tat Aparityagena. It means Viruddha Aparityagena. The contradictory aspects of the contrary aspects of Jiva and Ishvara are not given up. Contradictory aspects are not given up. Tat Sambandhinaha, instead what you do, that is retained. Tat Sambandhina Kasyachit Arthasya, of any other, the meaning of any other word. Lakshitat, if it is implied, you bring in. Tat Viroda, that bringing some other meaning will not resolve the contradiction. Tat Viroda Parihara Asambhava. By bringing in some other meaning, you are not reconciliating, you are not resolving the differences by retaining the differences. By retaining the differences and bringing in some other meaning, that is by giving implied meaning, by implication, without giving up the meaning, any other meaning which is connected to it, if it is implied, you bring in by implication that meaning. Then the contradiction, parihara, asambhava, because of the impossibility of resolving the viroda, tat viroda. The viroda is already pointed out. Parokshatvadi, aparokshatvadi, virodaha. It is not reconciled. Therefore, Jagalakshana na sangachati, na sambhavati yatra. Jagalakshana is not possible. In the Drishtanta, Shonaha Davati, Shonaha Ashvaha Davati, there it is no problem. There is no giving up, and at the same time, there is an implied meaning, Ashvaha. But here Viruddha Amsha is there. So that you retain it. And there is an implied meaning. So therefore, the implied meaning, by bringing in the implied meaning, the actual meaning, in which we have contradiction, in which there are contradictions, they are not resolved. They remain there. They remaining there. Since the contradictions are not resolved, then Ajaga Lakshana cannot be applied. So, because Ajaga Lakshana requires the retention of the primary meaning and supplying of the implied meaning. So, therefore, you cannot give up the Viruddha Amsha. It is logical to think the Viruddha Amsha should be given up, but Ajaga Lakshana doesn't allow that. Ajaga Lakshana doesn't allow that. Therefore, you cannot give up the Viruddha Artha. So, Viruddha, therefore, Tad Viroda, Parihara, Asambhavat. That is what Jagat Lakshana is. Therefore, Jagat Lakshana is Sambhavati. Very simple. The answer is very simple. Why Jagat Lakshana is not applicable? This is the answer. Here you have to retain the opposite meanings also, contradictory meaning also you have to retain. Then katam ekatvam lakshyate tattvam padayoho. Not only tattvam, that ekatvam, even otherwise also the meaning is meaningless. By retaining the meaning and the implication, implied, and that is what is going to be discussed. What is the need for the implied meaning? Retaining the contradictory meaning and bringing the connected meaning. That also not required when you're retaining the contradictory meanings, contradictions. But then what is the purpose of bringing the implied meaning? So that is useless. So therefore, Jagat Lakshana is not possible. Now the Purvapakshi will ask the next passage. We will read the next class. There is a suggestion. You have to give supply the Purvapakshi, assuming the Purvapakshi, and then the answer is given. We will discuss why this is not applied. This one reason we have given, because it is contradiction is not resolved. Then if further he says that tatu and tvam padam by swartha viruddhamsha parityagena ashantara sagitam. Sorry, amsha, not ashanta. Amsha antara sagitam. The question is arised, and the question is arised by the Purvapakshi, so that the doubts which is there in the mind of the student, why this cannot be applied. The author first gave a simple reason. Since the contradictions are not reconciled, therefore they cannot apply. That is one thing. Then the Purvapakshi gives a suggestion. Tat and tvam, giving up the contradictory meaning, giving up the contradictory aspects. That is the limitedness and unlimitedness, which are the contradictory aspects. So a suggestion is given, a Purvapakshi. You can give up the contradiction, at the same time you retain the meaning and add something to that. So that is the suggestion given by the Purvapakshi. The next line is a Purvapakshi. And the passage that follows that is negating the Purvapakshi. So this is interesting. This is next passage, 167, where a suggestion is given by the Purvapakshi and that is also dismissed. So we will discuss that in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha.
धन्यवाद
गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद.
धन्यवाद शरणजी.
धन्यवाद.